Hello everyone, welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, and in this video we'll be previewing day 2 of Royal Ascot. We'll be previewing every race, all 6 races, where I'll be giving you my thoughts and feelings and giving you a selection in each of those races. So before we get stuck into the action for tomorrow's racing at Ascot, just want to reflect on day 1. It wasn't a bad day, we were just slightly down in the end. We had a really good start, we had a couple of decent each ways come in. Century Dream ran really creditably in 4th place. Thought he was going to win with about a furlong out to go for William Buick and Simon Crisford, but it wasn't to be. Some bookmakers were only paying 3 places, other paying 4, and my bookmaker, luckily Ladbrokes, were paying the 4 places. I was on it 28 to 1, so I got a bit of a decent return there. And it was a bit frustrating for those that only had the 3 places because he just went down in a photo finish for 3rd. But it was a really nice performance there, and that's something I would recommend at these big events. Always shop around with bookmakers for multiple places and the best value. So definitely have a few different accounts with different bookmakers. Also as well, in the Coventry we had a nice each way at 16 to 1 with Advertise for Martin Mead and Oisin Murphy. It was a nice performance by them. In the end, he could only muster 2nd place, but it was a good performance drawn out on the far side of track in stall 1, was pretty much in dead last after the first furlong and ran on really well towards the end. And I think maybe if he was drawn closer to Caltex, that obviously won for John Gosden and Frankie Dettori today, he might have given him a run for his money, and who knows, he could have even passed him and beaten him. But it'd be interesting to see how they progress from the Coventry. I thought that was a really hot renewal this year, and there could be a lot of winners and decent horses coming out of that race like there normally is. Away from then, it started to go downhill. In the King's Stand, we backed Washington DC. It was showing a bit of glimmers of form coming into this race with some decent efforts, but in the end really couldn't pull and believe on any of those. Finished in the midfield in the end and was very disappointing. It was Blue Point that won, showing that Patash and Lady Aurelia weren't good enough to win the race. Then in the St James's Palace, Romanised was our selection, but it was without parole the favourite again for Frankie Dettori and John Gosden winning. Our selection kind of blew the start, was held up, and in the end, coming into the home straight, I thought it might have had a chance, but it just couldn't really show a good turn of foot to get involved. Then, obviously, the long shot of the day in the Ascot Stakes, the 5 o'clock, Gareth Juliet was very keen throughout. Definitely wasn't his cup of tea today. He was running so free. Maybe the hood could have been applied if it had. He might have maybe made the frame, maybe finishing maybe just inside the top 6. But he did beat a couple of horses, showing that he didn't deserve to be 100 to 1 shot. He beat a Jamie Osborne horse, and I think there was another one he beat as well. So he didn't come in dead last, but obviously he was 100 to 1 shot, and he didn't really have a chance in the end. But hey ho, that's racing. And then Mirage Dancer, that was a bit of a funny story. Some of you might have seen on Twitter. I was shouting home the wrong horse because it was the same colours. Monaco the Glen won again for Frankie Dettori and John Gosden. It was in the same colours of the Juddmonte partnership, Mirage Dancer and Monaco the Glen. But if you saw the way ITV showed it, it did look like our horse because he was running on the inside, and then when they went from against the track to the home shot coming down the end, the home straight at Ascot, it looked like our horse from the inside had got a gap and was being switched out, and in the end was staying on really strongly. And I was shouting at the TV, and then it was only at the end when I thought I heard the wrong name, and I was like, why is he saying Monaco Glen and not Mirage Dancer? I was hoping British Horses had got it wrong, but then when I saw the number of the horse, then obviously I was wrong. And Mirage Dancer in the end, he kind of got squeezed out and he was hampered, finishing around about 5th place in the end. Still ran an okay race, but it wasn't to be. So it was a bit of a mixed bag today, probably just slightly on the downside, but we had a couple of decent each ways come in, making sure that the damage wasn't too great today. So in the end, it wasn't bad, but hopefully we can turn that around for tomorrow. And we start off in the Queen Mary tomorrow. We're going with a horse here called Shades of Blue, 6 to 1 best odds at the moment. It's being really well supported as we speak. Actually, I've seen it in 4 to 1 in a couple of places. Trained by Clive Cox and Adam Kirby. These two teamed up last year to win this race with Heartache, you might remember. This horse is going to be in stall 22 tomorrow, which I think is a good thing. I think being drawn against the stand side's rail is always good. I know they say normally there isn't a draw bias, but I think being down the stand side is good because obviously that's where Caltex was today. This horse won really nicely on its only ever appearance at a racecourse, which was over the course and distance. The form of that race has worked out really well with Queen of Bermuda, who finished in 2nd place that day, winning twice. You also as well had Come On Leicester, who finished in third that day, also win. There's also been a couple of other decent performances from horses that have come out that race. So in the end, that wasn't a bad performance. I thought 6-1 was definitely a good each way bet, considering the Connections won this race last year, and this has probably always been the target for this horse. So for me, I thought this was a good bet to have tomorrow. We then go to the Queen Vase, the 305. Stradivarius won this last year, and so did I. I had it at 10-1, tipped up last year. So hopefully we can have the winner of this race again this year. Going with Stream of Stars, with the same combination that won it last year as well, John Gosden and Frankie Dettori. Now this horse won last time at Ascot in really good style. The form's been really boosted that race. Corgi, which finished in third place of Hughie Morrison's, has also won since we last saw it. Also as well, Polish, that we tipped up at Salisbury at the races last week at 10-1, absolutely bolted up, finished 6th in this race. So the form has worked out really well, and I thought tomorrow Stream of Stars had the right profile to win this race, and I thought 4-1 was a decent selection with both jockey and stable in great form. And I wouldn't be surprised if he could make it another winning success for that duo. We then go to the 340, third race with the Duke of Cambridge Stakes, going with a horse here called Urban Fox, trained by William Haggis. James Doyle booked for the ride. This horse won well over course and distance last time in a Class 2 handicap. It's obviously stepping up in grade, but the form has been boosted by De Fede of Rafe Beckett's winning since at Leicester, and Dynamic of William Haggis's finished 4th in this race at Ascot and subsequently went and won at Musselburgh. So the form looks good, and I thought this horse could go really well today. They've always fought a lot of it. Had some decent handicap form last year behind Accidental Agent, and I wouldn't be surprised if this horse could make the frame at 9-1. Then going the Prince of Wales, obviously it's Cracksman's to lose, but I'm going to be taking him on. Maybe you want to go with the bet without Cracksman here. Going with Eminent, 12-1, was disappointing on its debut run for the season at Chester. It's trained by Martin Mead, whose horses are running well. We had advertised obviously run today. Ocean Murphy booked for the ride. Now this horse had a good season last year, won over in France, and it also won the Craven as well. Ran okay in the Derby, and I thought really could go really well tomorrow. It's going to be liking the ground that it likes, and I wouldn't be surprised if it could make the frame. So that's going to be selection there. Royal Hunt Cup, 5 o'clock, going with a popular winner that would be Seniority. Good each way bet at the moment. They were hoping to make the cut, and they have. It's 12-1 bookmakers at the moment. Trained by William Haggis, and James Doyle booked for the ride again. Horse won really well last time on the all-weather last week at Chelmsford. The form's already been boosted with Via Serendipity of Stuart Williams winning at the weekend at Sandown. And I thought really, with the draw in stall 30 tomorrow, like we said, stand side, a good place to be. This horse had a massive each way chance. I've seen some bookmakers paying 7 places, so I definitely can see him making the first 7, so definitely get on this one tomorrow. We then go for the last race, the Jersey Stakes, 5:35, going with a horse here called Society Power. 11-1 bookmakers at the moment, won its last 5 starts in a row, won at Goodwood last time. The 4th horse in that race, Maverick Kofsa, has already franked the form by winning just over a week ago, so the form looks strong there. Society Power has been on the upgrade. He's won at Ascot before. He'll like the conditions. Jamie Spencer booked for the ride. This is a typical hold-up horse by a hold-up jockey. Jamie Spencer always has winners at this meeting, and I could see him making the frame again tomorrow at 11-1, making it a good each-way bet. So they're the selections for day 2 of Royal Ascot. Let us know in the comments box below what you're going to be backing tomorrow. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Here at Lucky Loads 15 for more previews and more horse racing videos. Also as well, follow me on Twitter at LuckyLoads15, where we're most active on social media. So that's all I got to say. Please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have a few winners along the way tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.